September 15th is a very important date when it comes to this big reconciliation stimulus package. All of the details in this video and why September 15th is such a key date. Let's get right into it. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video as it's totally free to do so, and we are in a very important phase right here, right now, as we are working our way through this big reconciliation bill, and Congress is open to suggestions as to what should go in this thing. So we continue to do anything we possibly can to remind Congress that we need additional stimulus checks as well as permanent raises for beneficiaries of Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, and RRB benefits, as well as additional financial support for low income and these fixed income beneficiaries. So if you like the sound of that, make sure to subscribe right down below the video, and I will continue to be here for you each and every day to keep you updated with all of this information that is changing literally on a daily basis. So thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it, and I will continue to be here for you every single day going forward as all of this is very, very busy. All right, let's talk through this and why September 15th is such a key date coming forward. So here's the thing. We are currently working our way through all of this stimulus provisions and stimulus proposals to be added into this massive reconciliation bill. We're starting to see this thing kind of take a little bit of shape. Now, previously, it was just the rough framework of this thing, which we know the general framework of this reconciliation bill is made up of some really big high-ticket items, including expansion of Medicare, which would include hearing, dental, and vision, as well as lowering the eligibility age down to 60. That one is a big proposal in there, and that one ultimately encompasses a lot of money, but at the same time, it also impacts a lot of people, like tens of millions of people. So that'd be a really good one right there. There's also the expansion of the child tax credit. Currently, people are getting those payments right here, right now in 2021, but they want to extend that for a few more years through 2025. We also do know that there is money in there for paid family and medical leave, expansion of Pell Grants, and of course, there's money in there to offer 2 years of free college at a community college. So there's a lot of big programs in there. That's like the main framework of this proposal. However, we do know over the last few weeks here, we've been seeing a lot of different proposals coming out. A lot of people are coming out with their own ideas and all of these other provisions to be added into the package. Exactly as we've been calling on for many months now. I said, wait, as soon as they open up the doors on this thing, everybody and his brother are going to be coming out with all of these different proposals to be added into it. And don't worry, I'm right there too. I want to be one of these people with my foot in the door saying, hey, we want this. We want permanent raises for all these beneficiaries, and we want some extra stimulus checks, right? So don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people, by the way, right? I'm one of those guys sitting there asking for more to be added into this package. So don't worry. I'm right there doing everything I can to help out all of you in this community to see what kind of money we can get and what kind of additional support as everybody needs it right now going forward. So I guess like a good analogy would be, just a quick side note to kind of, if you want to picture something, it's basically like a big semi-trailer, right? Semi-trailers, they're pretty big. They hold a lot of freight. Well, it's kind of like the same thing. The trailer is backed up to a dock, and all of us are like in the loading dock being like, hey, throw this box in there. Hey, put this pallet in there. Hey, put this big roll of stuff in there. You know what I mean? It's like all of us are kind of throwing our own ideas in there, loading up that trailer, which is ultimately going to encompass this $3.5 trillion package, or thereabout. It could be negotiated up or it could be negotiated down. All right, so now that we know all of this, and of course, I'm keeping you updated on all this stuff as we get all the information each and every day. But here's one thing that we do know. Chuck Schumer, who is the leader of the Senate on the Democratic side, he has come out and reiterated that September 15th is going to be a key date. That is the date in which he wants the committees to have all of these stimulus proposals, all of the stimulus provisions, everything that they want to be added into this package and everything that everybody wants to be added in these packages, all wrapped up together and perfectly assigned, as in like wrapped up with a nice little bow on top and presented as in the committees have come together and figured out what they want in this next massive reconciliation bill, and then it can be presented by September 15th. Now again, this is the date that he has put forth, but how many times have we seen them pass deadlines? As in they put a deadline, a line in the sand and say, this is the date where it's all going to happen. and then we blow past the deadline by 2 months. You know what I mean? So even though it's a deadline in the sand, it's a line in the sand, it's the date that we have in our calendars as far as this is the date where we should have everything as far as how this reconciliation bill is going to go. We'll have to see when we actually get there, kind of thing, right? Of course, we've seen them miss their deadlines by a lot. So I'm not really going to hold them to it, but this is the date that Chuck Schumer has laid out and said that he wants everything on the table when it comes to this reconciliation bill. Now, one more thing. We have to throw this out there, and this is a quick reminder. We do know that even though if something may or may not be added in by September 15th, we don't really have to worry about it simply because we've seen this play out time and time again with other stimulus packages. They come forward and they say, here it is, this is the package deal. And then last minute, as they work their way through the negotiations and literally on the 11th hour, we could see some major amendments made. Quick example. In the second stimulus check, the $900 billion stimulus package that was passed in late 2020, right after Christmas. Remember that one? All around that time, there was all kinds of drama going down, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Bernie Sanders and Senator Josh Hawley came out of nowhere. The two of these guys, an independent and a Republican, came together and said, we need stimulus checks. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there were no stimulus checks in the package. There was a little bit of talk about them. And then all of a sudden, they came out and said, well, we need stimulus checks in the package. Otherwise, we're not voting for it. Do you remember all that? And ultimately, because of these two guys, that is what led to stimulus check number 2 and ultimately stimulus check number 3. I mean, I do know that there were other factors as well, but I mean, ultimately, it's because of all of this that ultimately came down to a second and third stimulus check at literally like the last minute. So that could be the same situation once again with all of these other proposals and provisions. We do know that there's a lot floating around out there, including there's a lot of people who want additional stimulus checks, a fourth stimulus check, monthly recurring payments like the 53 representatives in the House. We have 21 senators, obviously, in the Senate, 7 members in the House Ways and Means Committee. There are people out there, over 80 members throughout Congress right now, that want additional stimulus checks, recurring monthly stimulus checks, by the way, in this next package. So, I mean, there's a lot at stake right now. There's a lot floating around out there. So my point is, I just want you to be reassured. If something is or is not in the package, by the time September 15th comes around, don't fret it. Seriously, please don't. A lot changes. In fact, some of the best negotiations and some of the best things that have been added into the package typically come in last minute. One more example, that $10,200 of unemployment benefits that was excluded from income and taxable from the third stimulus check package, that literally came in as they were going through the final negotiation process in the Senate. Literally, like minutes before they were planning on voting on this thing, Joe Manchin came out and said, hey, I don't like this. We need to make a change. And they ultimately did it right then and there. It took them like 3 or 4 hours, something like that. They were stalled for like 4 hours, and ultimately that is the deal that came out of it. That was one of the best negotiations that came out of that package. Seriously, it was a good one. So my point is, the last minute negotiations, the last minute proposals, the last minute additions into the package typically happen to be some of the absolute best ones out there. So this is where it's going to get really, really good going forward. I mean, I've been saying this for a while now, and we've seen a lot of really good stuff come out here over the last couple of weeks, and the last couple of days here, a lot of really good stuff. But it's only going to continue to intensify as we work our way further and further toward the actual finish line of this reconciliation bill. I mean, literally, it's going to like intensify almost on a daily basis the closer and closer we get to the finish line. It's like running a marathon, right? You're 26 miles out. You know, there's some people cheering, but all of a sudden you're within 1 mile of the finish line, and how many people are on the sidelines cheering? Yeah, it's hot and heavy, right? It's getting a little sweaty in here kind of thing, right? Yeah, that's what you're experiencing. That's exactly what it's going to be with this package as well. It's going to get a little bit spicy, if you know what I mean. So, hope this helps you out. Again, we're going to be watching all this very closely. No need to do the research on your own. I mean, if you want to, feel free, but no need to. That is what I am here for. I do tons of research every single day on all this stuff. I package it all up into these short videos and deliver it to you a few times a day throughout the day to keep you posted on everything going on right now, because I know this is a really tough time, and I know that everybody needs additional support and resources. So I'm your guy. This channel is your one-stop shop for everything you need to know right now. Subscribe right down below the video. Feel free to share this one with your friends, family, social media. Thanks again for your support, everyone. I appreciate it. Subscribe down below, and I will catch you in the next video.